Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning.
I love you, baby. Why? I love you, baby.
First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. In the morning. Yo, 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 yo. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Tis Friday, April 12th, 2024. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio in the morning.
In the morning.
There he is. There he is. What's happening, y'all? Paul B. Buddi3 Da Gawd.
Hey.
Joining us on this Friday, April 12th, 2024. Another fresh edition of your favorite show. I'm just assuming it's your favorite show. But
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, why else would they wake up first thing, crack of dawn in the morning?
Yes.
tune on in?
Especially Pops over there in the West Coast, man.
Man.
Appreciate you getting up so early. Says, good morning, First Guy. Can't believe it's Friday again, but love from Las Vegas nonetheless.
Yes, sir. Already.
Love it, love it, love it. I see a lot of folks up early. Kimber Snipes up early this morning.
See, they love us, man. They love us.
Amy H. in the house. So glad to see your name in here again.
Hey.
Can't wait to get with you next week. Happy Friday, she says. Yep, it is Friday. It feels like a Friday. Feels like I don't know, something balanced out this week for me, where the days fell where they're supposed to fall, and tomorrow's the weekend.
I think it has something to do with this the eclipse at the beginning of the week. You know, setting the energy right. You know.
Interesting.
Yeah, all of that.
Kimber says, I pray to God this whole show ain't about OJ. Love y'all, though, if it is. Well, you already know it's not going to be.
Yeah, no.
know that. No. Yes, OJ did pass away yesterday.
Yeah, since you mentioned it. We weren't even going to talk about it, Cameron. See?
Since you brought it up.
Yeah, since you mentioned it.
I only got one thing to say about that. I really don't like how people are reveling in his death. I don't like you don't need to act like that if somebody passed away, no matter how you feel about him. So
it's between that and J. Cole apologizing to Kendrick Lamar, man, I'm starting to see people out here got a bloodthirst, whether they want to admit it or not. People love to see the carnage and the destruction. That's what people like. I'm all about the peace, man.
I'm glad you mentioned J. Cole. I gave him a shout out. I was like, look, man, that's how to be a man. Stand up and say you're wrong and apologize and show love and move on. Love supreme. It's love supreme this season.
Man, see, love supreme. People try to act like it was because he's scared of Kendrick. I think it's just his heart wasn't in it, man, and you can kind of hear it in the verse, you know. His heart wasn't in it.
I did hear it in the verse. That is very true.
I mean, he was like kind of complimenting him at the same time. He said, try to downplay his catalog, but also said he had classics. Like you could tell his heart wasn't in it. That he was, responding to peer pressure because people was expecting him to,
We'll come back to it, but first of all, I want to give a shout out to everybody that's joined us this morning very early. Leia Keister, you got this one?
Yeah, I think it is my turn. A happy fry, yo, 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 yay, yay, yippee, yippee, yo, yo, yay, yay, yippee, yo, yay.
Nice.
How'd I do?
You even had some flow with it. That's what's
okay. That's all, Leia. Thank you.
Kimber's giving everybody some love. Pops, Amy, Leah, appreciate you coming in too. Kimber says, this is my favorite show. I just put someone off the phone to hop on. Hey. Yeah, I gotta go. My stories is on. My story.
Yeah, I gotta go. Man, you remember that back in the day before the streaming? Man, I gotta go. I got places to be, things to see.
That's what's up. Kobe Black Dynamite in the chat early in the morning said, top of the morning, y'all. Appreciate you. Good morning, Mama God in the house. Good morning, fam. Good morning to you as well. Areas 402 says, my wife calls me coffee because my morning drunk ship coffee grind is so good.
Okay. I like
I don't know your personal business, bro. I don't know.
Yeah.
I ain't trying to be in the bedroom with you this morning, Mayor Sanchez.
What Mrs. Mayor calls him.
I am gonna slide it over to the cousins though. That might be a slogan for him. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Wanda Luz gives us a good morning as well. Appreciate that very much. Black Dynamite says, "Laugh out loud." The TV Guide channel.
Man, come on, man. You miss your channel. You gotta wait for it to come back around. Like, dang.
We got Ray Vincent in the house saying good morning. Good morning to you. Appreciate it. A lot of you Facebook folks coming in this morning.
Okay.
That's what's up.
Man, the people. The
Yeah.
people.
And I got to give a special shout out to Beth this morning. She said she loved the playlist. She's our number one fan over there on First Guy Omaha
Hey.
Radio.
Club
So
630.
Club 630 said the mix was right. I was a little nervous about it, Beth, because I usually give you some upbeat because I know that you be going on your walks and stuff like that. You need a little pumped up music, but it was
Okay.
kind of mellow this morning, and I didn't know if you was gonna feel it, but she loved it, so I appreciate that very
Yeah.
much. Go to firstguyomaha.com, hit the listen button, check out the radio channel over there. The digital radio is the future.
Man.
And also, you can tell your Amazon Alexa to play First Guy Omaha Radio. Appreciate you. So,
First guy in the morning.
yeah, man, feeling pretty good here already. How you feeling today, buddy? What's going
Yeah,
on?
I'm feeling good. Got my tea. Sorry, I'm a little tardy. It was getting my tea together, and yeah, had to get ready for the show, man. We're gonna be here for the next 2 hours.
Yeah.
Do what you got to do. Settle in. We up in here. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I had to do the same thing. I had to go off and get my little drunk ship.
See,
So,
there you go. There
yeah,
you
shout
go.
out to Drunk Ship Coffee, who is
Hey.
sponsoring this and our TikTok news. Drunkshipcoffee.com. It's just like it sounds. DRUNKSHIP. Coffee. Yeah, check it out, man. Get your beans on. Get your grinder. Get your beans on. It's going down. We got the contest coming up. We're gonna be giving away some bags. Shout out to them. Also, just a reminder, we're over on TikTok. So if you have a TikTok account, then I suggest you go over there and check it out and get your news from there as well. But we also put those news briefs on the YouTube channel. So like and subscribe there if you would. Appreciate you very much. And also with this show, please share the show, especially you Facebook folks. Share it on your page so we can get as many people in as possible on these conversations. It's going to be a good round of conversations today. Buddy started off the day saying, it's almost too much news today. I was like,
Man,
sound like a good day.
there's a lot of things going on, especially out of the legislature. In the last waning hours of that thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, it's some things. It's gonna be an emotional day. I'll just put it like that. There's gonna be some
Okay.
things to talk about. Yeah.
Well, let's get it started. Another fresh edition of First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Happening right now, Friday, April 12th, 2024. Good morning, y'all.
Hey.
Once again, good morning. Welcome. First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
If y'all don't know, my name is Paul B. His name is Buddi3 Da Gawd.
Hey.
And you are the chat chimers and the ghost listeners and the radio listeners that join us on this journey we call Conversation Ruling the Nation.
Man.
Yeah, coming up with some news, finding out what's going on. If you're just joining us for the first time, that's what we do. We kind of talk about the news and what's going on in the neighborhood, and we put it out to you. See what you feel about it. See what you think about it, and see what you think is news. More importantly,
Yeah.
'cause, we get the news dictated to us by mainstream media, and it's not always representing what it needs to represent. So we're trying to step in and really focus hyper locally. North and South Omaha, we call the East Side.
East
And,
Side.
yeah, but that's not the only place because people don't think that Benson is North Omaha, but it is.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, we have direct access to places like Blackstone. We frequent these places and spend money at places as well. So, really the whole city is ours. So,
Oh yeah.
that's how we got to deal with it.
There you go.
Yeah. Just want to jump in the chat real quick. Marlon Harrison giving us a happy TGIF First Guy family.
Yes.
I appreciate you, Brother Harrison, for the stuff that you've been putting in, especially those posts where you're celebrating the kids and stuff like that. I love seeing that. Appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, and just on that note, a quick reminder, as you're saying, if this is your first time, definitely go ahead and join Friends of First Sky on Facebook. That's our Facebook group where a lot of that conversation goes and a lot of those posts, as Paul just mentioned. That's where you can find that stuff. And also, Mama God asked about the contest and things. Yeah, if you heard Paul earlier about the drunken ship coffee, first
Drunk
thing to
ship.
do,
Yeah.
drunk ship. Thank
Yep.
you. First thing to do, go follow their friends of. If you're not part of the friends of, we'll be posting information and things like there. Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Also, a lot of this is going to center around this new newsletter we got happening coming up here pretty soon. So, if you already want that and you're so inclined, drop your email address, shoot it over to firstsky@gmail.com, and we can start hooking you up early on those things. So yeah, lots of things coming up for sure. She's asking also, Mama Guy saying, does the radio only play in the morning? Nope, it plays 24/7. It's a celebration of black music. Plays all day, every day. Right now, it's just music. Just kind of we're kind of exploring music. We're getting back to though some shows, some of the stuff that we
Hmm.
used to do on Mind and Soul. I've been working on that as well. So there'll be some new radio shows coming up. Digital radio is kind of the future, and there's much talk is on there right now. Is just when we do the morning show Monday, Wednesday, Friday on there as well. So we have people that aren't really watching YouTube, but they are tuning in on the radio channel. So you can do that too if you got to be driving doing something. So yeah, digital radio is the future. Get with it.
And this show is right now broadcasting on the radio. So if you again, as Paul said, on the move, I know a lot of people like to bike and walk in the morning. You can always go to First Guy Omaha on your phone and click the listen button, and yeah, get the same experience. Or just tell your Alexa or your Siri, you want to get down.
That's what's up. Appreciate it. Pops is saying Schadenfreude. Is that how you say that, Pops? Schadenfreude
I
is the
think it.
word for enjoying other people's misfortune or problems.
Hmm.
I'm wondering if I'm saying that right.
Schadenfreude.
Schadenfreude. Yeah, we'll see.
Okay, I kind of like that. Reminds me of the tricky words of wisdom. Little tidbit for the day.
Appreciate that. Pops got
Yeah,
Pops. Man, we need to talk about that. You got. I know you got a few of them.
word of
Some
the day,
word of the day or some wisdom from a song from back in the day or something.
man. Shout out to Mayor Sanchez, always hitting us with the lyrics.
Lyrics.
Uh,
Yeah.
I also want to acknowledge that comment. He says, "Remember when TV would sign off off the air at night?" Yeah, 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 yeah.
You have to
Many
turn it
memories.
off and you woke up.
Man, fall asleep to Living Color, wake up to the national anthem.
Y'all young folks don't know nothing about that one.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
old.
I'm just old enough. Just old enough, man.
Mama God said, Paul, I've been on my cinnamon regimen to reduce swelling in my eyes, cleaned my glasses very well, and got my magnifying glass as backup so I can see my post before sending. Okay.
Nah.
You must think I was calling you out on something. If I did, I didn't mean to. So yeah. But no, you're all your comments and everything is always welcome. And we all know that we're here live, so we all miss typing and doing stuff anyway. It don't matter.
Man,
And look, buddy, every show got to be like, Paul, get your readers.
I try to tell her, but it's not. Paul can't see. Paul gonna need a magnifying glass soon too.
I got one. I'm ready. I just ordered me a 3-pack. I got one in each room. I wanted to go back real quick. I'm glad you started talking about a situation with J. Cole because I don't know if a lot of people who are listening to us know about what's going on there. So I'm sure you've heard of it if you're in the popular music at all. But there's a recent famous. I don't know. It's hard to call it a rap beef when I come from the era I come from.
Yeah.
But anyway,
A spar, a
you know,
spat,
a little something. But Kendrick came hard with something in against J. Cole and Drake.
mostly
And
Drake.
yeah, mostly Drake. And J. Cole tried to come back at him, and you can hear it in his verse that it was kind of like his heart wasn't in it. Because J. Cole, if you don't know, J. Cole's kind of he's like the hippie of hip hop. He's like a super peaceful dude. And he's always praising. He's kind of like us on the show. Like he's just praising folks, and he's all
Yeah,
about the
show love.
love.
Show love.
Yeah. So I was kind of surprised that he chimed up first and not Drake.
I'm not. I wasn't.
Really?
I wasn't.
But anyway, the reason why it's so significant to me is because this was the example of somebody who openly allowed people to see that he got peer pressured, that he felt the pressure, that he did something that didn't feel right in his spirit, and he came back and said it didn't feel right in my spirit. I take it back. I apologize in front of the world.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was just kind of one of them moments of like a mature black man standing up and doing something real, or really real, like really real,
Yeah. Yeah.
and showing how it's done, man, and showing and going through the process. Like we've all succumbed to some things that peer pressure, something acted in a way that that was against our spirit because we felt the pressure, and for him to bring that out and for him to act on that and apologize and show love, it's dope. I'm here for it.
Okay.
Here for it. But yes, you're right. Even like there's a lot of even Cole fans out there that are just like, no, you messed up. You whack, you weak now, and all that. And I'm like,
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
get off him. So anyway,
But
Kendrick didn't
I'm
win that though.
oh yeah. 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 Kung Fu Kenny,
Oh,
King
Kenny
Kunta.
came with it.
Yeah. So there's that.
I
Man.
miss verses on YouTube. I miss verses too. Yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely a highlight of the pandemic. Definitely go back to that KRS-One and Big Daddy Kane versus. If you haven't gone and watched that and you're a hip hop fan, regardless of age or generation, yeah, just go back and watch it. If you're from that era, it's stroll down memory lane, and if you're not, it's a master class. So yeah, check it out. Check it out.
I like what Black Dynamite saying. He's there was an era too. You didn't get the national anthem at the end of the night. You got the infomercials.
Oh yeah,
That's for our era.
and the songs.
30-minute long commercials.
Yeah.
Marlon Harrison said, I heard people were grilling on Wednesday and I'm mad I wasn't invited. Me and you both, bro. Yeah, me, I tell y'all, if you're out here grilling, I'm just a poor single man out here looking for a plate.
Please.
Uh Mama God, I'm glad you were talking about that. I've been got that old man inflammation in my joints and stuff going on. So I'm open to any suggestions. I hear somebody that said chewing a couple of whole cloves will also reduce inflammation. Shout out
Okay.
to Wanda Lewis.
There you go.
Yeah. Let the
There you
old
go.
heads talk for a minute on this. Need to do that. Tamika
Man.
Johnson in the chat said my beans and t-shirt arrived yesterday. The drunk ship t-shirt is nice and plush.
There you go. There you go.
Shout
Shout
out.
out.
Shout
Shout
out.
out. Yeah. Man, shout
Appreciate
out to you for copping the beans and shout out to Drunk Ship for, delivering quite nicely.
Yeah, appreciate that. Like I said, go to drunkship.com and get your beans. They source from one. I didn't tell this before, but they source from one farm in Ethiopia, and doing this research on this company. We found out Ethiopia is the birthplace of coffee,
Man.
and the reason why it moved over to Italy is because they actually attacked Ethiopia back in the day.
Well.
And all of a sudden now cappuccinos, espressos, so on and so forth, right? But yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. So shout out to the fam who's venturing into some new stuff, man. I come from a family full of entrepreneurs. They always have been. There's only a couple folks in the fam that took jobs for years and years and years. Most of them start business and stuff like that. So that's where I come from.
Supporting the motherland.
Got to. Right on. We got a lot to talk about today. I'm seeing the chat still going off. Kimber Snipe says, I don't think I was surprised when I heard the song. I think I was slightly disappointed because it seemed like it went against who he was. Yeah, J. Cole. But in hindsight, I guess you could kind of hear it, Paul. Yeah. Like I said, when I heard it, I was just like,
Yeah.
his heart's not in this, and he just lost for real by responding. That's what I heard when I first heard it. So it was no surprise when he came back out and was like, "Yeah, nah, I shouldn't have did that." And it's funny because the album is titled "Might Delete Later."
Yeah. Take that how you will.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, man, shout out to the they still the big three. No, it's just Big Kenny. It's just Big Kenny. Shout out to it's just Big Me, MC Big Me.
Yeah, King Kunta. I see you. I see you repping the West Coast. I see where you're going with it. It's okay. Look, I'm here for it, man. I'm here for it. But anyway, man, let's go ahead and dive in. What we actually gonna talk about today. Big shout out to everybody in the chat. Who's going along with our shenanigans and entertaining our tomfoolery. Thank you. But yeah, we do got a lot to talk about. Some good news, some bad news, some definitely a lot of news coming out of the legislature today. actually 100 or so bills, according to an article out of the Nebraska Examiner, going for Governor Pillen's desk in this last couple of hours. And yeah, it's some things we need to talk about. Definitely some wins. Shout out to Senator Terrell McKinney,
Yeah.
put some respect on his name. Sister Senator Justin Wayne, put some respect on his name. Again, getting the whole bill to help inmates vote again. That there was restoration of their voting rights getting passed. So that's definitely big news. Also, looks like the whole Inland Port Authority bill might be moving forward. So definitely looking forward to speaking to the senators on Monday to get a recap on some of those things. But a big thing, kind of not good news that we need to look at. Nebraska bill passes to let some school staff carry guns. This is something that we've been looking at, and yeah, if you haven't heard the news, that bill has passed. We're going to dive into the details of what that means. Definitely would love to hear from all of you chat chimers, especially those of you who are either working with the youth, working in the schools, or have youth in the schools. I'm thinking of, you, Sister Kimra, going for school board. Also, you, Sister Erica Felt. I know Boogie's at North, and you got some babies in the schools. What are your thoughts on this? Definitely gonna have some time to speak about that. Also, shout out to our tribal and native brothers and sisters. It seems like the third tribe has banned Governor Christy Noem of North Dakota from reservations. Apparently, the third tribe this year, and I mean we're not even halfway through this thing. So yeah, kind of diving into what's going on with that situation and exactly what it is that she said.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm.
yeah. Made some comments that gave her the boot. Also, looking at what's going on in our prisons. Again, it's been hard to get information. If you heard or remember, there's been a back and forth between the inspectors general and the legislature and the administrative branch, namely the Department of Corrections, and trying to get information reporting out of the prison system. And now we're hearing another news incident that's coming out of now York, Nebraska, the women's facility there, going days without hot water. So yeah, well, we'll dive into that and more. As always, if there's anything on your hearts and minds that we're not talking about, feel free to drop. There's some housing news here. Like Paul said, man, it's a lot of news to get into today. So again, let your mind be free, let your voices be heard. In the meantime, between time, Paul B,
Yo,
what's the
yo.
word? What's the word?
Man, just jumping in the chat real quick
Yeah,
again.
man.
Anthony Rogers Wright is in the chat. Appreciate you coming on in. He said colonized Ethiopia, talking about Italy. He said, but when you think about it, lots of Italians are like 1/16 black.
Yeah. Sicilians and yeah,
But
all
what
that.
happens when you colonize places? You end up getting with the folks there.
Yeah. Amalgamating.
Kimber says taking your minerals will help with that too. Your sea moss, your bladder whack. Okay,
Yeah.
I've never heard of bladder whack, but I'll see.
Really?
Yeah, never heard of that one.
Man, bladder rack can get you right, dog.
Really? Okay, I'll have to
Yeah,
look into
man.
it.
And you pair it with the sea moss, that's just about all the minerals that you need. That's all of them.
Yep. We got a good morning from Gwen Easter. Brother Pena gave us a good morning a little earlier too. Good morning to both of you. Also, Mama God said, remember, fam, coffee has not been grinded, so get a grinder. Okay,
Yep.
yeah, talking about the drunk ships, coffee, sure enough. Also, Wanda Lewis says, okay, you can call me. I wasn't calling you an old head. I was calling myself one. She says, you can call me old head, especially after you posted that pic of you in 75. I was
Oh
already in
yeah.
high school. Wow. Yeah, that was a while back. It was interesting. One of my earliest memories, though, being in Omaha in 1975. I don't know if you guys saw my post.
What
But
little P on the Mustang?
yeah,
You talking
man.
about? Yeah. You
See if
gonna
I can
share that?
pull it up real quick. Yeah. I broke out my scanner, so I'm kind of like the family historian in a way. So
Man.
I'm pulling out pictures and using some new AI stuff to enhance the photos.
Hmm.
So that was what that exercise was all about. But yeah, me and my cousin David sitting on Big Dave's Mach 1,
Man.
1975. I got an apple in my hand. I'm like, yeah, we having a good time today, chilling.
Baby
So
B.
it's really a trip to look at yourself. At this age, this big age, as my friend says, this big age, looking back at like pictures like that is just kind of a trip, just all the way around, man. I've been seeing that picture all my life, but something hit me about it recently that was 1975. I was born in California. I remember flying out to Omaha in 2 years later, 1975, and getting rushed to a basement because they said their tornado was coming.
Hmm.
And I remember hanging down there being scared. A few days later, coming out, weather was perfect. Out there playing with David, and they were like, "Let's take some pictures." And So the year is significant. Me being in Omaha now, that's significant. There's just a lot significant. Plus, of course, just the family and having somebody in your life that goes that far back with you is a
Hmm.
trip. A lot to it. So I've been seeing that photo all my life, but never really thought about how they're living alive with the family, and being able to capture that, being with family that way is so important.
Man,
Such a trip.
actually, I'm gonna use that to transition into a story because
Yeah.
it's important that you're doing that. One, like kudos to you for being, taking the mantle of a family historian. That's something we need, man. That I think every family needs a historian to tell the story. And we talk about what great grandfather did
Mhm.
with the showcase, and
Yep.
your family's legacy, but we always talk about this between each other. Mama God in the chat, so she can kind of attest to this, learning about the magic door and the daycare that my family used to run, and that being
Man,
one of the first black owned daycares, if not the first black owned daycare center in Omaha. And
I hear a lot
just
of people say they came up those daycares too. I meet a lot of people out here.
man.
Trip.
So just talk about family legacy, talk about memories, talk about preserving not just the story of the families of the community, but the community itself, North Omaha. And again, the story that I'm alluding to is what's happening with the Spencer projects. Again, there's been a lot of development changes, a lot of changes. I was just kind of talking, to my family down here about some of the changes that's happening in Omaha, and it really kind of suck in, like, man, at some point um the Omaha that we grew up in, like, we laughing about the whole TV situation, but really think about why it is that we do this. Like, the North Omaha means a lot to us all for different reasons, and
Man.
it's changing. The way it looks is changing, and for some people who might have moved away some years ago, might not remember what's going on with some of the things that might have happened. Looking at downtown and the Gene Leahy Mall, driving down 30th, and you might now see what's now called the Malcolm's Place or MLK Square, in place of where Spencer Homes used to be. You might be surprised. Again, shout out, if you remember, we had Joe Rogers on a couple weeks ago and talk about this whole process and learning that they are at least allowing the community itself to help navigate some of that stuff. So that's a big part and big important part of the changes that's happening in North Omaha. But again, the fact remains, it's changing. North Omaha is changing, and that's something that is very interesting that needs to be talked about. And again, we all need to take a kind of a lead from Paul as far as what can we preserve, as far as our history, as far as memories from being youth, especially pictures. Like, if you follow me, if you kind of familiar with my music, that's why I put Timeout Chicken on front of my mixtape
Mhm.
cover. You know what I
Oh,
mean? Like, at, at a certain point, it looked like Timeout Chicken might not be there at a certain point.
man. Man.
So again, it's changing. It's changing, and whether we like it or not, it's going to look different within the next few years. But will we continue to be able to claim North Omaha as our home, as that place in memory, or will we be able to steer it? It's you know that's what's going on. So
Yeah.
again, Malcolm Place and MLK Square is the name of the new situation, the new homes. Apparently, according to this article out of KMTV3, there are some individuals who used to live in the Spencer projects that are now coming back. So that was definitely one of the things that was a concern as far as displacement. Who will be allowed back in? And it seems like again that the former residents will be getting kind of first dibs, if you will. But definitely will continue to keep an eye on that situation. Maybe even bring Jewel Rogers back through. Again, she helped with the naming situation and making sure the community had a say in that. But yeah, definitely looking forward. And if anybody has any more information on what's going on with the former Spencer projects, now Malcolm's Place and MLK Square, again, let us know. You know what you know. Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Shout out to Wells
There you
Lavelle
go.
for he put some stuff out too, man. And here's a little video of them out there as this was happening. If I can get this going. And yeah, just some of the construction starting up, and I thought, man, they already building. Didn't they just go through getting stuff
Man,
pulled down?
throwing it up.
And
Throwing
they're
it up.
throwing it up fast. So shout out to Wells Lavelle for going out here and getting this footage. That's an example of a content creator using his platform for the news. You know what I'm saying? This is it. This is the brother coming out on the scene and showing us what some of this looks like. So again, shout out to Wells Lavelle for that. Lavelle Wells, we call his name is Lavelle Wells. He goes by Wells Lavelle on his Facebook page. Is the
Yep.
reason why we always say that. But yeah, but shout out to him, man. He does some good work, and he's right here. He's right here around. Making sure that we see some of the things that are going on. So yeah, I was very surprised about this, and I'm very glad to hear that that the residents are going to be able to come back. That there's not going to be as much displacement as there has been in other places. We don't know how the total extent of that, but that was definitely something. I'm glad they named it what they named it. That'll probably make sure we stay in there too.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was kind of the whole part of the whole conversation with Jewel, like what's in a name, and
Yeah.
what is the significance of naming a certain place, certain after a certain person or ideal, things like that. So, yeah. Does that name mean anything to you all? Does the fact that it is named that rather than George Washington Square or something like that, like does is that important to you?
The Viking Circle. No,
Right,
no,
right, right, right,
I think
right.
it's
What does that mean to you all? And again, is this something? How do you feel about this? How do you feel about this development? How do you feel about these changes? It will be mixed income, so there is that. Based on who will be able to move in. That there are different tiers to that, and there's not much in this article. I guess there is the fact that Bring Shore Development is the developer behind that. If anybody is
mm,
familiar or if anybody cares about who's developing it, if you want to follow the money, if you will, on that situation. But yeah. Again, let your mind be free, let your voice be heard on that situation.
that's what's up. Mama God is asking, the sign was knocked over. Is it still gone? Does anybody know about the sign over
Yeah,
there?
timeout sign.
Oh, you talking about the timeout sign?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember it being. I can't remember if it's back up.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember it coming down.
Anybody knows? Let us know. Sarah Phelps in the chat said, "Morning, all made it live this morning. That's what's up.
Okay, welcome back, welcome.
Appreciate you." Amy H. Dot in the house with a good morning. Appreciate that very much. Pops is saying that pick was one of my favorite. Oh, talking about my baby pick. Appreciate
Yeah, yeah.
I see Bo Youngblood in the chat saying good everything. I appreciate you coming through, man. West Coast getting up early for us. Appreciate that very much. Also, Brother Pena cracks me up. Said he was dynamite. That was me in the '70s.
No, okay. I was wondering who he was talking about. Baby P.
Also, Areas 402 says since the guns in school bill passed, it's only a matter of time before a gun is lost, misplaced, forgotten, or stolen from a teacher. Not to mention the worst case scenario. I
Man.
think I think Brother Pena asked earlier. Somebody did. Oh yeah, he said, "Why in the world do we need guns in an environment where guns are the problem?"
Well,
Initially, not even guns are the problem. Unstable human beings are why we are given unstable human being guns.
hmm. Well, let's go ahead and dive into it, man. Again, a lot of things coming out of the legislature, some wins, some losses, and you'll kind of decide which is which for yourself. We're here to kind of give you the information, and actually a lot of bills. It looks like Governor Pillen will be busy here soon, again with 100 bills being sent to his desk for approval in the legislative voting spree in the last waning hours of the session. A lot of things coming across the finish line. Again, Nebraska lawmakers sent about 103 proposals to be exact, striking down only one at the introducer's request, including the elimination of a waiting period for the restoration of voting rights, which we'll be getting into here in a second. Lawmakers will actually return for one final legislative day next Thursday, April 18th, and we'll have about 8 more bills plus 7 appropriation bills to consider. So it looks like it will be kind of a long day for them. The final day is largely ceremonial, but could include veto overrides if the governor rejects any bill. So there's still a few things to look out for in this last wave of bills. But of course, one of the big ones that a lot of you are already talking about, already looking at, is this bill that Omaha Road Herald is reporting on, saying that again, some schools, which Cameron has already given us some details in the chat, so thank you about that, clarifying some things. But again, some schools now have the authority to give staff the ability to carry guns. Again, this is not going to be coming to OPS though. So again, don't worry. LB 1329, which is actually a package of education measures, passed on a 40-0 bill, or excuse me, 40-0 vote. The bill also includes measures that would allow schools to use construction dollars for safety infrastructure and would ease requirements for teacher training. So it's a bunch of changes and things that came into that. But of course, one of the biggest things is the ability for smallest school districts to authorize security staff to carry guns in schools and at school activities under one of the 100 or so bills approved on Thursday. Of course, the initial version of the firearms provision, which was introduced by State Senator Tom Brewer, would have applied to all school districts. So again, that is kind of the big thing to look out for, the big thing to remember. That was a big worry for a lot of people is will it come to OPS? Will it come to Lincoln? Some of the larger school districts, but that does not seem to be the case. Again, it will be only the smaller school districts, as Kimra says in the chat. As for cities with 1,000 people or less, or districts with elementary schools only. Kimra goes on to say, I'm grateful it's not in Omaha public schools, but I do wonder if it's a precursor to something else, which is definitely a good question. Again, to reduce the opposition, Senators Brewer worked with Senator Michaela Cavanaugh of Omaha on a compromise that limited the bill's application to districts, again, with fewer than 5,000 residents. Brewer also has said larger schools generally have school resource officers who already carry firearms, like the instance of OPS, who partners with Omaha Police to serve as those school resource officers. And again, they're on duty officers in full uniform on schools already. Most are also located in areas with law enforcement agencies close enough to respond quickly in case of a school shooting or other emergency, i.e., Central, which is right by the downtown precinct, or even North, which also has a precinct right down the street as well. So, again, as Kimra also mentioned in the chat, this mostly alludes to smaller areas that, some of them don't even have a police department. Some of them are in counties where there's only a sheriff. And again, if the sheriff is all the way on the other side of the county and there's an emergency at the school, then, somebody has to respond. But the question still remains, is giving guns to staff in the schools still the best option? Can't hear you.
Kimmer also says in the chat, it's for cities with 1,000 people or less, or
Right.
districts with elementary schools only. I'm grateful it's not in Omaha public schools, but I do wonder if it's a precursor to something else. Yeah, great comment. Yeah, that is the thing. I think that if it might begin there, but I think all things always lead to Omaha in this case,
Mm.
where they feel like this, there's the most, especially when you think about like other stories that we've been talking about recently about violence with kids being violent,
Mhm.
against faculty. It's just a matter of time for it'll be an OPS, I believe. But we'll see. What say you in the chat on this subject? I know a few teachers that I've talked to already. They're like, don't want to be having to carry no guns.
Yeah.
It's not why I'm teaching. It's not why
No.
I'm teaching.
No. And
So
yeah, and
yeah,
I
that's
wonder if that's like is going to come with extra training. It doesn't quite say exactly who. Will it be the nurse? Will it be the teachers? It's not really
interesting.
laying it out in this article, but those questions definitely still remain. But it is, although it's not OPS, it is actually a large percentage of the school districts in the state will be still affected by this bill. According to this article, the compromise measure will apply to 192 states, 244 public school districts, but only affect about 68,000 of the state's K through 12 students. It will be up to each district. That is also important to decide whether to make this use of this new flexibility. So again, it's something that's going through already. Um,
Yeah,
it's nothing that's going through already. It's nothing that is, a foregone conclusion. It could still be that many districts decide not to use this, especially at the behest of which saying teachers who don't want to push it or don't want to use
be
guns.
home
Don't
no
want to take
guns.
advantage of it. Right. So
Exactly. Yeah,
yeah. We'll
I
definitely
like I
see.
like what
Go ahead.
I like what Kimmer is asking too. She's like, the real conversation is how do you address people's fears in a logical way? That's a great
Mm,
question.
yeah, it
That's
is.
that's the that's really kind of the progressive question there, really.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
on deck. How your internet seems to be jumping around there. You good?
You tell me. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. You kind of late. Might want to shut a window down or something like that. I think one of those windows is killing you right now.
Yeah.
Real quick, I just want to give a shout out. Also, I see Stacey Jean in the house saying, "Good morning, first guy, Omaha fam and friends. Appreciate you coming in, brother Muhammad. Melvin Muhammad gives us assalamu alaikum family.
Peace.
Good, long time no see. Yeah, good to see your name. Uh, Also, I just saw a comment come in from brother Jahi Shabazz. What's happening? He says legally carrying a weapon anywhere is not bad. Get off the liberal plantation. I don't think I'm on a liberal plantation to say that if I'm a teacher, I don't want to be in schools carrying a gun.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know about
yeah,
that,
yeah.
but
Calm,
I
calm.
feel you.
Take it easy, brother. Take it easy.
I feel what you're saying though, because we have to live in a world where there's laws where some people can have guns and some people can't, and you know who the some people can't always is.
Yeah, yeah,
So I definitely
yeah.
have a different. I'm not a gun person, but I definitely have a different attitude after talking to like brother Kasim from Black Agenda Alliance. You know, knowing that he has a security company that been to events where his security company is there and he's armed and his company people are armed. Do feel safe. I feel pretty safe when I go to a concert or anything where brother Kasim is there like that,
Yeah.
because the fact that there is some fear wrapped around with people. We do live in a gun society, bro. We live in a society where it's a norm. It's a norm every day to have some kind of story about shootings in school, all kinds of stuff. So, but I think a lot of times, man, and hopefully it's not just because we are paying attention to it more, but I think that in a lot of cases, man, it's always there's a lot of people out there who are who there's a lot of black folks that get gunned down on because somebody got scared and all that kind of stuff. And you think about the kind of attitudes that they have about our kids in school.
Come on, man. Come on,
They
man.
already think they're grown and super predators, and they're scared of them in the first place. Somebody gonna get hurt.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not even, although we're happy is not going to be in, OPS
Yeah,
where like 80% of the students are quote unquote, students of color. I'm still thinking of our native brothers and sisters in the rural areas. I mean, we got situations where they're, getting their hair cut and, they're man, it's not all peaches and cream out there either. You know what I mean? So when you, like you said, when you have teachers that have those attitudes, especially in areas where the FBI has already said there's the most percentage of hate groups active and things like that, you think it's some people that's not teaching that has those mentalities? So yeah, we got to be wary of who gets these guns, and yeah, a little skeptical about yeah, I don't know about this. I don't know about
yeah,
this. But you talking to a CCW carrier. Like I understand you at least need to know how to use the thing. Like Paul said, this is the society we live in. And I'm taught as long as your life is of value to others, you got to protect it. And I'm giving back to my community. I got kids, so I understand, but at the same time, you know,
yeah,
what do you do?
yeah. Trip. Definitely fear. Bo is in the chat saying fear is almost an illogical emotion. It's a human one though. So
Yeah.
it's a human one. So we got to figure out how to deal with it. Kimber Snipe says, but yeah, everybody don't need a gun. Who gets to decide who gets one? Shows the importance of the right people in leadership. I'm also that she making that question is making me wonder about if since this law passed and some people are some teachers are going to be carrying guns. Is it by their choice? Are they opting into this? Can they opt out of it? I can't imagine that this bill means that they are going to be made to carry guns in certain
Mm.
areas.
Yeah. And I wonder how much leeway is given to each individual district because we've also talked about, the political leanings and, certain political just conversations around school board. We've it's been reported how much money is being poured into school board races and how that's increased over the years. Several years ago it was only about 30,000 dollars or so to run for school board in certain rural counties, and now it's hundreds of thousands of dollars being poured into this. We just talked about some of the pressures that's happening in Nebraska as far as the private school situation. So again, it is all very interesting the political attention that's been put on school boards, who's now running for school board, what are their leanings, and based on how this bill is written, how much leeway will each board have, and like, is it a policy that they get to draft as far as the particulars of the policy, who gets to carry what gun, and or is that all dictated by the bill? So that is kind of interesting as well. Like,
Hmm.
how will the particulars of this bill, the details, really be laid out?
Yeah, for sure. And on the bigger scope of this, Anthony Rogers Wright is saying black people have been avid gun owners from the get go. Never forget what Ida B. Wells teaches us: a Winchester rifle should have a place of honor in every black home, and it should be used for that protection which the law refuses to give.
Man, well regulated militias.
That is
That's
it.
right.
Appreciate everybody's comment on this. Brother Shabazz back in the chat says you can't keep evil in a box. You can only prepare for it. Fully agree with that.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
Fully agree. Amy
can't
H. Dot said
disagree.
trust is the key. Okay. Also, Bo says I might have been around for a long time. Talking about you guys are talking to each other. Wanda Lewis says schools should hire people to work in the area of school officers and not the police. Okay, so that brings up a different thing too, because in school, well, I don't want to get too far into this because right now it's kind of like this law's changed. Let's see what it means. Right now it's in rural areas and not so much in OPS.
Mm-hmm.
We can do a whole lot of it'll. I do believe it'll end up being something that OPS is going to have to deal with soon, but they're not dealing with it now. It's not happening now. Um, and there's other conversations to have, like Wanda Lewis is saying, we're dealing with police in schools, and should there be officers? Should there be school officers and not the police? What other protections? What other things are in place right this minute, especially in OPS, that are keeping our kids safe, that are supposed to be keeping our kids safe, and what that to me that the conversation at some point needs to shift to that before we get to to talking too much about what's going to happen when the guns get to OPS, when the teachers start carrying in OPS. You know what I'm saying? What are you thinking?
I mean, I don't know how much. I don't know how much of a chance it really does have to come to OPS.
Really?
I think there'll be a big fight on big pushback
I don't think
on
so,
that.
bro.
But I don't know.
From
I don't
who?
know.
From who? Look. We could take a poll right now in the chat. How many of you guys think this is a good idea to arm teachers? Or you know what I'm saying? Like who's gonna what's the pushback gonna be? And from who?
Yeah, I mean, even as I'm saying that, like, who's pushing back against it now? You know what I mean?
Even our senators voted for this, right?
Um, I don't know about that. I don't know. It doesn't. The
I think
article doesn't. I didn't. I have to look
yeah,
and at.
yeah,
Yeah, I
I
have to
actually
actually
can't
look
remember.
at the bill. I don't know exactly know who voted what. But I do know. Shout out to Senator Michaela Cavanaugh, who was a part of at least getting that, because yeah, has she not stepped up, and has she not, been one of the senators to ask for a compromise and kind
Mhm,
of stand in opposition of this building? Yeah, had Brewer had his way, then yeah, it would have gone to all districts,
mhm.
uh, across the state. But again, that compromise changed that. So, um, hopefully, hopefully, at least there'll be some senators in there with some common sense if the people don't at least back them.
Yeah.
And it seems like the people in the chat at least are backing it. Kimra saying no, it's not a good idea. Sarah Phelps saying hell no. Yeah. So
Yeah, but Brother Shabazz said yeah, heck yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like what evil is out there. You got to prepare for it.
okay.
So, half and half.
Guillermo
Also,
also.
yep. Kimmer says at this point, a school administrator. This is the point here. At this point, the school administration lawyers will get the bill and start drafting policy. So there's still some steps and some ways to go here. She says then the board would approve it or not approve it. So there is definitely some things here. I feel like before we get to that point, but I don't want to. I want to get back to the now, and the now is we have resource officers and stuff in school now in
Mm-hmm.
OPS, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's kind of what's we got to look at that situation. What has that been a good situation? Has that been keeping the kids safe? You know what I mean? So I don't know. There's just I'm just saying, like like there's other conversations to have right now. This is news that this bill passed and that this
Oh yeah.
is happening. I don't think it's going like with you. It's not going to happen at OPS right away. I do think it's coming, but is at the point right now because the kind of the overall point is to keep the kids safe. How is that happening right this minute? That's all I'm saying. So maybe a conversation for another day,
Would
perhaps.
definitely love to hear the take on the senator's take on this situation. Kind of get more of an inside scoop on what the conversation amongst what the debate amongst the senators was, and kind of they have a better feel for the room, if you will, to see what kind of support that does or does not have. But again, shout out to Senator Michaela Cavanaugh for stepping up and getting that compromise and make sure it's not going to OPS as of now. So we would definitely see how this progresses, and yeah, it'd be interesting to see which districts take advantage of this, how they implement the policy. Yeah, more to be said and more to be heard on this one.
Most def 750 right now. If you believe in the concept of time,
Seven
uh,
fifty.
750.
Good, good,
Yeah,
yes, good, good.
I love it. I love it. One more comment on this. Anthony Rogers Wright is saying, "Nah, SROs are another form of policing. We must allow our black children to be policed, and then we must not allow our black children to be policed, and then expect them to also learn. Let's do what they did in Michigan and hold bad parents accountable when they are complicit with a mass shooting. More policing has never made any situation better." Lots of points in there. Definitely on the subject of what I'm talking about. I think we need to talk about that. We need to look at some data, see about has there been any stories about SROs messing with kids? Does anybody have any information on those things? We can talk about whether or not that's a good situation or not, based on how effective it is, how safe the kids are being, or with school officers that way. Also, yeah, man, should parents be made held accountable for the actions of the kids?
Now that's interesting. That's a whole nother conversation.
Whole nother conversation. Let's take a quick break and we'll come back and jump into some more stuff. Thanks for everybody whose comment I missed. Appreciate everybody who's joining into the chat right now. Do us a favor, share the show, and let as many people in as possible to have a bigger conversation with a lot more voices. Really appreciate that. If you're over on Facebook and YouTube, please share the show. Also, we got the Haps coming up. This is Friday, so we'll have an extensive Haps a little later on today. And so get your Haps ready for that. Talk about some of the things that's going on this weekend and coming up this next week. I personally cannot wait to talk to the senators on Monday about the wrapping up of this session and the wins
Man,
that both of them have had. Man, yeah, it's going to be really interesting. So stay tuned. We'll be right back again. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
in the morning.
All Beeee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners, stay tuned. Be right back, y'all.
Hey.
You touch nothing. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Yep. Shout out to Drunk Ship Coffee once again for
Hey.
sponsoring the show, sponsoring the news on TikTok. If you're on TikTok, join us over there at First Sky Omaha. Get your Drunk Ship Coffee. Go to drunkshipcoffee.com and order your bag and your shirt and all the good stuff, man. Shout out to the chat chimers that did that already. And yeah, contest coming soon. So appreciate Drunk Ship for getting down.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you for hanging around and being a part of this conversation. We really can't do this conversation without you. So thanks for everybody that's up early this morning with the live. If you miss any parts of this show, you can always go back and check it out in its entirety on Facebook and YouTube. And when you do, please check out the chat. Please check out the chat. Got some good stuff going. Good stuff going on around here. So jumping back into the chat real quick before we get to the next story. Kimra is saying, speaking on more policing, let's not forget about that parking ordinance.
Mm,
Now it's the police coming to your house, not inspectors.
yeah,
Yeah, you park on the grass and you might get a knock on the door or a tow.
yeah. We forgot to mention that there could get towed from that thing. So yeah.
Yep. Josh Tag, chat chimer in the chat, man. What's going on?
Hey.
Appreciate you coming through. He says, I agree with you guys. More research needs to be done. In my estimation, it's likely that many accidents will happen. Not sure it's worth it.
Yeah, hopefully not. But we'll definitely keep our eyes open. And if y'all hear any stories, yeah, let us know. Drop it in friends of.
Appreciate Marlon Harris is coming too. He says, we had a black SRO at North and he was cool.
Yeah.
Did you feel safe with him around? Did he stop any incidents from going down? What
Yeah,
was the vibe?
I would definitely say, one of the experience I had with a SRO at school, Officer Bynum. Always remember his name. Definitely, shout out to him. I at least had the familiarity of seeing him in school, and then having been outside, being like pulled over, and he was like one of the officers. That kind of definitely eased the tension. You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, it's Officer Bynum. You come on, you know me. Come on, I'm just chilling. Uh, I ain't into no shenanigans, man. You know me. So yeah, it was definitely that is the positive side of having especially officers as SROs in schools. You kind of build that familiarity if they're engaging with the youth, if they're actually being present and not being a force, per se. But there is the other side where Brother Anthony Rogers right is saying, posting a story about SRO apparently sexually assaulting a student that was on Elkhorn.
Mm.
I would go on a limb and say that there are more positive interactions with SROs, but y'all tell me. Y'all tell me.
Oh, I think about the overall kind of preschool to prison pipeline that we always talk about, and how
Mm,
schools are almost designed like prisons,
a little bit.
and you ain't got guards in there, so now you're just used to it. So and yeah, there's incidences with guards, with teachers, but I think you're right too, buddy. Like it seems like there's more positive situations there than not.
Yeah.
But there's some fear out there still. Brother Pena in the chat saying, I don't know. I feel scared. There's more of discriminatory people out there in the third district where I'm from. And for somebody to have random guns anywhere in school makes me feel like my people are going to get hurt in the third district. This is horrible.
We talked about certain rural areas being sundown town vibe-ish, and so again, we'll see. We will see how this plays. It unfortunately could go either way.
I like what Tony Johnson's saying. We did not have SRO back in the day. Only took dedicated black teachers to keep us straight.
There
That's the
you
mic
go.
drop. That's the mic drop.
There you go. Shout out
Appreciate
to
every,
Brother Man Haynes.
Appreciate everybody's comment. I'm gonna do one more before we get out of here. Mama
Yeah.
God is saying, will police knock on door first to give you a chance to move your vehicle? Talking about this new ordinance where you can't park on your own grass. Or will they just put a citation on the windshield? I know case by case, but some will use punitive approach if they want to base on personal feelings.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, don't be sitting out in your car in the grass smoking the joint or something like that.
They roll up on you.
Man, it turn into more than just a citation.
That is also a point. I do wonder if that will, increase police interactions. Yeah, it's a good point.
Yep. Moving on. 7:58, almost coming up to the second hour of First Sky Omaha in the morning.
man.
Appreciate everybody that's come through and coming back through. I know that you guys dip in, dip out. We see the
Yeah.
stats. We see
Doing your morning thing.
see how you do it.
Yeah. But we appreciate you nonetheless. We know on average, y'all watch about, I think on average, say about 30 minutes. So, you ain't sticking around. So appreciate y'all joining the conversation. Let your mind be free. Let your voice be heard. Still, again, going over the recap of what's happening in the legislature last waning hours, man, some bills and some laws that could be coming down the pipe to look out for. Again, 103 bills across the governor's desk. So will there be some vetoes or will there be some things? A big shout out again to Senators Terrell McKinney and Justin Wayne, the North Omaha Senators, for again getting some big wins. Of course, LB 631 from Senator McKinney. We spoke to him about that on Monday, looking at a series of reforms on the board of parole. And now Senator Wayne also getting some prison reform bills passed, although, again, they reminding us not quite the sexy bills, not quite the amount of support and citizen, testimonies on these bills. But nonetheless, it looks like they're getting some things accomplished still. Again, Nebraska lawmakers have passed a bill Thursday to restore the voting rights of those convicted of felonies upon the completion of their sentences, including prison and parole time. So again, big shout out to Senator Justin Wayne. Put some respect on his name. The introducer of the bill passed by a wide margin in the last year of Wayne's second term. He is barred by term limits from the running this year for a third time. So again, as he's on the way out the door, man, getting some victories. Currently, again, as it stands, a person who has been convicted of a felony must wait 2 years after completing their sentence before they can vote. But again, now as the bill is passing, they will get that right as soon as they leave, and that's huge. That's huge. That's huge. Because as we know, we're kind of learning, dealing with the 180 reentry program, and again, also, big shout out to Heartland Ministry, who also deals with, some individuals, brothers and sisters looking for services who are, fresh out, kind of getting a sense that, people who serve time might actually have an inclination to get more involved, to be more involved, especially when they're fresh out. So again, that 2 year period of not being able to vote, not being able to kind of get involved with society and feel like they're welcome in society, that could lead to some people, going back to jail and going back to a life that can lead them to jail. But if they can get out, feel like they have a say, be a little more aware, at least of some of the issues that impact people like them. Yeah, they might be more inclined to get a part of society and be more active. As Cameron's saying, this is huge. So big shout out, big win for Senator Wayne.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, man. As I'm interviewing some of these brothers that are either on the getting ready to come out in that reentry program,
Mhm.
they have become, in their time that they have served, they become a lot more, gained a lot more expertise in the in the language of the law.
Mhm.
And I've talked to a few people that were like, "Yeah, when I get out of here, I want to help change that law because that was ridiculous. So there's no reason why I should have spent that much time in over this." And I'm just like, man, they've been in there low key studying.
Man.
So now give them the opportunity to vote on the information that they've learned about their own situations. You're definitely gonna get a population of people that comes out and is paying more attention to local politics and what controls them, what got them in there in the first place, and so on. So
Right.
it's a really good opportunity for somebody reach out and tap in and be like, yo, like you said, this is one of the things here. As a matter of fact, might be a thing that now this law has changed. It'll be interesting to talk to Diane Good Collins over there at the 180 program to find out if that's going to be a part of the program now. To be like,
Mm.
yeah, get you some. Here's some clothes. Here's some stuff to get you on your feet. Here's a job. Here's a place to stay. Um, Here we can help you integrate society. And one of the things that you're gonna do is go to school and gain a trade and also learn about local politics and get back to voting. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it might be real interesting. Yeah. Anthony Rogers Wright is saying, does Wayne really think Pillen will sign that bill into law? That's another good question.
it is a good
It
question.
has sitting on Pillen's desk right now. He said that's the only question that needs to be asked. I think we're being set up to have our heart ripped out of us if we aren't vigilant or man, this chat. If
Going
we're
on.
not vigilant or having reasonable expectations, Pillen ain't signing this bill during an election year, y'all. No way.
Yeah, that is one thing I'm trying to see if this bill does get signed by Pillen or if it survives a veto. There is that as well. Maybe there are enough senators out there to support this bill to survive a veto. But yeah, I am kind of curious as to when this would go in effect if it does pass. I'm not quite seeing that in this article.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's a good point. It's a good point, brother Anthony.
As a matter of fact, that brings us back to the other article we were talking about. There's 100 bills on his desk now.
103.
So what's the odds? What's the range you think is going is I want to start no numbers on this show, but I almost want to like how much you want to bet this cat is going to I mean he's going to sign maybe 50% of them, 70%. What say you? What say
There's some
you on
bills. There's some definitely, especially like the parole bill, which is governor appointed as it stands. That could be changing with some bills. Again, Senator McKinney is trying to put that under the Department of Corrections. rather than an independent parole board, there'd be some changes. Definitely be some things. So yeah, that is a point. That is something to look out for as far as will Pillen be illin on this? We will see.
Rick Fulton in the chat. I'm always saying something about him, about you. Excuse me. I'm speaking like I'm not like he ain't here. He has a relevant comment that says, "Good job addressing voting for felons and transitions from lockup by urban senators." I don't know about that urban senators part, but I'll take the comment anyway. Appreciate you coming in, and yeah, I think it is a good job that they've been fighting for this. I know Senator Wayne been fighting for this for a minute. This has been years in the making
Yeah.
on this particular one. So we'll see. And like Anthony Rogers Wright says, man, we will see if Pillen signs it in. It's with all this talk about them trying to take away the blue dot and make this a winner take all state. You're right. It's a good. I think they'll be fearing that people will be getting out of jail and voting against them. So Pillen been talking to Trump about trying to change the dynamic of this state. So it's unlikely that he will sign it. I will go with Brother Wright on this one.
Really?
Mm-hmm. If I was a betting man, I'd say odds are he won't.
Okay. And I can kind of go along with you on that. And my whole thought again is whether or not there'll be enough to override the veto,
There you
because
go.
checks and balances.
There
Checks
you
and
go.
balances. Again, if there is a veto, that's all he can do. And then it bounces back to the legislature, and I believe there has to be 33 votes in order to again make that a law. Um, so yeah, we'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see.
That's not taking anything away from Senator Wayne's win on this. He worked
Oh
hard on
yeah.
this for some years, so shout out on that win in a big way. Yep, yep.
Yeah, yeah. Again, and this is quite the 360, because if you remember, not too long ago, felons lost their right indefinitely. So went from
Mhm.
losing the right to vote indefinitely to having 2 years to wait, and now Justin Wayne is getting it immediately. Actually, I'm of the mindset that I wouldn't be too against inmates in prison being able to vote.
Well, they still in the state. They still have to deal with laws that are affecting them
Right.
in their daily life.
This is also connected, if you remember, the portion that makes inmates slaves in the Nebraska Constitution, although it's still on the federal Constitution. The Nebraska Constitution, they removed that a couple years ago. They're supposed to, at least. So, to my understanding, inmates now, if you're convicted of a felon, you should still have your rights. You know what I mean? Like, if you understand the 13th Amendment, involuntary servitude, unless convicted of a felony. But maybe they should have that right. And
Mm.
also, this next article is a big indication of that. If you got to live in these kind of conditions, maybe you should have at least a say in something that goes on. At least the laws. Again, 3 buildings at the Nebraska Women's Prison in York, including 2 housing units and the building with the kitchen, were without access to hot water for 5 days after a hot water boiler broke last week. The boilers at the prison were already scheduled for repair, but again, it seems like they went down a little early. That's according to Dane Urbanovsky, Urbanovsky, excuse me, who's a spokesperson for the Department of Correctional Services, when suddenly one of the boilers broke on April 3rd, prompting the department to expedite its repair. But again, this isn't the first time that we heard certain individuals who are incarcerated having to deal with no water, freezing pipes, light shutting off, all types of things happening. And again, if you're locked up, having to deal with some of these conditions, overcrowding, understaffing, should you have the right to vote?
Even maybe just on even just if you're talking about your own personal situation there in that facility.
Yeah.
I don't think it's tied together, but yeah, you should have some kind of say, and we should too. Like we don't often hear these things from the people that are inside. They don't really talk about them too much for fear of retaliation.
Hmm.
So if we do learn about some things like water's not working, what can be done about it? Who's in charge of that? Who's in charge of handling that? Who can you hit up? Who needs to get a citation for letting that happen?
Yeah, and again, remember the parole board situation is tied to the governor. So we have inmates who can vote. Maybe they'll vote for a governor that might make sure the parole board is working.
Terry Crawford in the chat. Good morning. She says, "Good morning. Cook County in Chicago has a voting behind the wall initiative for those in jail, not prison, who have in pretrial status without a conviction."
Okay.
So here we go. We always talk about solutions journalism, which is us kind of going outside the state to see what other cities are doing,
Mm-hmm.
cities similar to Omaha. And Cook County in Chicago voting behind the wall. So there is people that are in jail, not prison, but in jail, able to vote.
Yeah.
Wonder what kind of impact that's had.
Also, Kimra in the chat saying there are some states that do allow people from prison specifically to vote. She says you can vote in prison in a few states. So, yeah, it's apparently a thing in other places. Definitely something worth talking about and thinking about in Nebraska. Again, one of the, if not the most overcrowded prison system in the nation. They might have some say about how to change some of those things.
Yeah.
Also, Anthony Rogers right in the chat talk about what's going on in Florida. It says also we need to learn from what happened in Florida after A4 passed. The state legislature issued many shenanigans that still prevented returning citizens from having their voting rights restored. Being prepared for a myriad of outcomes is a key principle of organizing for power. Inmates should be able to vote while serving "quote unquote" time. Full stop. So again, he's in support of inmates being able to vote.
Well, as long as we're talking about that, it is the election year. My mama God in the chat is reminding us Trump posturing for a win and trying to use Nebraska to get him there. He has his thumb on our leaders and probably will put pressure. Trump already mad about on Blue Dot.
Mm.
Yeah, that's been in the news. It's been in the national news, as a matter of fact,
Mm-hmm.
because it could come down to that vote there too. Sarah Phelps in the chat says Trump has called several senators too. And we talked about that article last week about how he hit up Pillen to try to make this a winner take all state so that there is no blue dot. Also, Rick Fulton in the chat, who right along with us today. Rick, appreciate you. He says, think the blue dot in Nebraska is safe for now, though. Primary is 1 month away, so we'll see.
Yeah, it is. We will see though. Again, the 103 bills on the governor's desk. There's also the possibility of a special session, for some of the tax stuff. Maybe this blue dot, situation might make it in this um special session if they have one. So,
Mhm.
it looks like the door is closing, but I'm hearing whispers that there might be opportunity to squeeze something through. Definitely still something to look out for. And I'm kind of been thinking of what Precious has said on Wednesday, man. She really might be onto something with her theory as far as a connection between this whole elimination of the blue dot, Trump pressure, and what's going on with the private school situation. Again, the scholarship, opportunity scholarship bill that apparently is being pushed through by the senators. And again, Paul, you kind of called it. You were the one that were alluding to the rally that happened a couple of days ago. That the Republicans had this whole rally, and the gentleman that they had speaking. Again, I wasn't too familiar with them, but since Precious laid down her theory on that, I've been kind of looking, and there's some articles out. Maybe we can pull that here in a second. But yeah. Again, the connection between the school choice and private schools coming to certain areas, Trump pressuring certain individuals to do certain things. Maybe there is a plan. The good old party script, as we always talk about.
It's not a maybe. We can definitely look it up.
Man.
They've been very blatant with their script. They're right on out there for you.
Yeah, Front Street.
8:14 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, Mama God said, "Don't sleep on Trump. He is diabolical."
Man,
He is. But we also know that it ain't all about Trump. It's all about who votes for Trump, and those are the people we need to be speaking to around here.
and again, I've been saying it. I just actually was on social media and saw some more propaganda videos out there. He was actually just down here in Atlanta. He was
Hug-
just down here in
Hugging up on
Atlanta.
hugging up on black women. I saw that photo.
Yeah, man. He was hugging up on the folk, man, hugging up on some sisters, stopped by Chick-fil-A, was buying chicken sandwiches and shakes for everybody.
Uh,
You know, on the campaign trail.
how
But
can, how
but
can
But again, it's not about what Trump is doing; it's how the people are responding, and there's people out there kikiing and ha ha, and I heard,
Eating them chicken sandwiches like
man, I
that.
heard Fat Joe just got the the Trump 5000s.
What?
Yeah, Fat Joe got a pair of the Trump ones in his shoe collection.
I mean, if I was a shoe cat, I might have to.
No, no.
Consider it. For shoe's sake. For shoe's sake.
That's what he tried to say, but
I will say every time anybody ever sees Fat Joe at any kind of political rally, he do be wearing a red tie, and there is a significance to some of that stuff that goes on there. You gotta understand, man. It's really interesting because I think as I have done this show now for the past 2-3 years, I've been thinking to myself, I guess I was always around a bunch of folks that were really way left. And the more that we talk to more people that have different ideas, also the more we do business. This money thing is a big factor, bro.
yeah.
'Cause I found out, I've heard myself sitting. I've been sitting at the tax office myself, going, so if we formed a corporation, then how can we get around this tax? And I'm thinking, this is the kind of stuff that they be saying like this. I'm gonna
Play the
wind up,
game.
I'm gonna wind up voting Republican in a few years if I keep going down this route. You know what I'm saying?
Listen. A lot of that's I brought it up when we were talking to Precious as far as the whole immigration point, and there's a lot of talking points that Republicans use over public spending and taxes and immigration. You building a wall that I'm hearing again a lot of brothers and sisters like yeah I'm yeah wholeheartedly like yeah I support that yeah. I agree with Precious as far as saying, people who are looking for a better life have the right, and I definitely agree with that. But I'm hearing also some brothers and sisters saying, not all of them immigrants are people looking. There's there's some people saying some stuff. There's some theories out there. I don't want to again double down on that, but this is the political leanings of people. Let's just be honest.
It was.
A lot of people ain't gung ho for Biden.
Oh yeah, I mean that goes without saying. But being not gung ho about Biden and then being all about Trump,
Two different
it's
things.
two different things.
Agreed.
Mama God said them shoes are ugly and disrespectful.
but he acted like since he got his own shoe that black folk gonna love that.
Bro, he making his own sneaker. He buying chicken sandwiches for y'all. Y'all
All
don't see
right,
it? You don't see it. You don't hear him going back to his people. I'm just gonna buy all these black folks some chicken sandwiches and
man.
come out with a sneaker.
In Atlanta, of all places.
Come on, man. That's the biggest part of that. When I see him on the photo like that, I'm laughing. When I see the black women around him hugging all on him, kikiing with him, I'm mad. Like, what are y'all doing? Even if you wanted to vote for him, what are y'all on here eating chicken sandwiches for? With him? Bruh.
Oh, we need the Boondocks back, man. We need the Boondocks back. That'd be a whole episode.
It really would be. Speaking of whole episodes, it's already 8:18 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we're gonna go ahead and jump into some more stuff. We got too much stuff to go. We can't keep on talking about this the whole show because there's just too many subjects coming up, and I want to try to get to some of them and also have an extensive haps a little later on in the show. Lots going on this weekend. Actually, gathered a lot of haps. So we
Okay.
got to spend a little bit of time on that. So let's do a little coffee bean and
Yes,
just
yes.
smell the coffee beans and come back and jump into some more situations here. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat going off. You guys gotta be cracking up this morning. I need to make a T-shirt that says "Them shoes are ugly and disrespectful." That's it. That's all it needs to say. Shout out,
What are
Mama God.
those?
Stay tuned, y'all. We'll be right back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. You're listening to First Guy Omaha Radio, First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you Chad Chimers, Ghost listeners, radio listeners, thanks for your comments and your participation. Shout out to Pops on that track. And I
Hey.
really appreciate you very much. Opportunity 3 is coming up here at the Land Bank. This is the opportunity for you to get with the Land Bank and sit with them and listen to their process, give them some feedback on how to move in the future. And it's going to be happening at 3448 Evans Street at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation, Saturday, April 13th. They had one yesterday. I missed it. I went to the first one on April 6th, and it was very interesting to have them do that exercise where they go through the process of how they choose how to approve who gets the land. It was funny looking around. I saw I was sitting next to Kimera Snipes, and I was sitting next to and I was in the room with Cheryl Weston and a few other folks that I felt like it was interesting. It was like, this is some strategy. They got us all in the room. The ones that are really, really you're trying to hold them accountable and say stuff about how they move. And here we are, learning about the process and gaining some insights on just how hard the job is based on the way the system is set up. So interesting things to learn. There's still a lot that they need to talk about, and there's still an opportunity left here on Saturday, April 13th. To go ahead and register on that. You can find that on Friends of First Guy Omaha and participate. Come on in and see how this works. Because this really does have to do with the land and lots and dilapidated homes around us, and opportunities for us that live in the neighborhoods to do something about them. From everything from taking over a lot that's next door to your house and caring for it, or building something on it, or having it's the difference between whether or not we in our neighborhoods are going to be building on these lots,
Mm-hmm.
or if outside influences are going to come in and build on them and try to rent them out to us at what the quote unquote market rate. So opportunity 1 and 2 already passed. Opportunity 3 is coming up Saturday, April 13th from 10 to 12 Saturday morning. They got a little coffee, little snacks and stuff for you. Come on in and see the process.
Okay.
And we'll talk more about that as it comes.
Yeah.
Yep. So anyway, in the meantime, between time at 8:22 right now, if you believe in the concept of time, let's jump into the next stories that we got coming up here so we can try to get them through before the show ends.
Yeah, man.
Shout out to everybody who is jumping onto this next subject with us.
Yeah. Big shout out to everybody in the chat. Kind of, continuing along with the conversation that we're having. Brother Anthony Rogers Wright is in the building, and we're talking about Biden, talking about Trump, but he is also representing another political candidate, brother. Again, Dr. Cornell West, we call him Dr. Love around here, kind of helped us with the Love Supreme, as you see, truth, justice, and love, some of the points that he's running on. But the important part is he is running as an independent. So there is some things to clarify as far as, whether or not you want to vote as a nonpartisan. Shout out to Nebraska Examiner for dropping this article. Again, the primary is coming up very, very soon. We're months away. If not weeks away. And again, there is some confusion, apparently, according to this article. It states a political party's rules creates confusion over ballot options for Nebraska nonpartisans. So if you are somebody who's voting nonpartisan, you might want to listen up to this story and some of the confusion that's going on, especially, at least this is what happened with Omaha resident Elba Sarah, who's an 80-year-old voter. She had prepared to vote in the Democratic Party primary elections for sheriff and governor. But because she was registered as nonpartisan, she was handed a ballot that contained none of the partisan races she wanted to weigh in on. So again, if you ever went to go vote, it was like, hey, why is this candidate that I wanted to vote for not on my ballot? This is something you might want to pay attention to. Again, in Nebraska, the Republican Party allows only party members to vote in its primary elections for state offices. And then the Democratic Party and third parties, by contrast, do allow nonpartisans to vote in their primary elections for state level offices, but nonpartisans must request the party ballot they want. So again, if you're one of the people that we've been talking about who's getting out of this Republican Democratic dynamic and trying to go more, for your own thought, independent, again, this is something you should look out for because again, there's some confusion. Miss Sarah says that she was registered nonpartisan. Says, I said, give me the sheriff list and governor's list. She said Tuesday, they said, no, you cannot get those. I gave the blank sheet back to them. I said, I do not know these names. Again, Sarah didn't know about her right to request a different ballot and actually left without voting. She didn't see the notice near the sign-in book that explains which ballot voters can request. Apparently, there is a notice that explains that nonpartisan voters can request a ballot for the Democratic, Libertarian, or Legal Marijuana Now parties, which include candidates for state and federal office. The nonpartisan Republican ballot, again, only includes candidates for federal office. So, again, if you're trying to vote for a local office for a Republican candidate, you basically have to be registered as Republican, it sounds like. Again, the nonpartisan Republican ballot only includes federal offices. Sarah, who again is the voter, should have been allowed to request a Democratic Party ballot for nonpartisans. That's according to Brian Cruz, who's the Douglas County election commissioner. But again, as it currently stands, state law bars poll workers from suggesting which ballot nonpartisan should request. So again, if there's a question that you have, you can't necessarily ask a poll worker because by law they are banned. So please understand that it's not like they're not just intentionally not trying to help you. This law is to avoid confusion, but apparently it's creating confusion. So again, understand if you're voting nonpartisan, it is your right to request the party ballot that you are wanting to vote for. So understand who you're wanting to vote for, what party they're a part of, whether it's state or federal office. Be informed as you're going to the ballot is the point. Be informed as much as you can. So hopefully this clarifies some things. I don't know. Did I explain it right? Am I causing more confusion? Y'all let me know.
No, I think that that's pretty it's pretty clear. The Nebraska Democratic Party has done a good job of letting people know that they allow nonpartisan vote on the Democratic ballot.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been my experience. Is if you are going to be independent, then you need to request the Democratic ballot. Anthony Rogers Wright is saying Dems are allowing MPAs to vote in their primaries. So yeah, that I think that the big idea here is to make sure that you know before you go,
Right. Right.
and get that information, spread that information out. Like I said, it was a big move. I think I don't know if it was a new one or they were just very diligent in really getting that information out. A few years back, I think it was 2018. I can't remember which election it was, but Nebraska Democratic Party was very vigilant in letting people know if you're independent, you can vote here, but not you won't be able to do that on the Republican ballot. So, interesting is, I think that's the biggest thing is like get that information before you go. Kimra says it's too bad that independents in Nebraska don't organize. I think there are around 90,000 in Douglas County. Woo.
Yeah. But that we kind of had that question or conversation in the past as far as like, it's all independent thinking. So what do you organize around? Because independent, you're independent. You know what I mean? Like, Democrats, there are Democrats because there is a certain political platform that they prescribe to. It's a singular idea. It's a singular platform. Same thing for Republicans. Same thing for Libertarian, and all. These parties are these parties for a reason. But if you're independent, then how do you organize with other independents who might have a completely different political leaning than you, but they're also independent?
Some parts of the country, independents are lean towards Democrat, and some parts of the country, including this part of the country, a lot of independents are leaning towards Republican. So you're right. It's hard. It's tough to define when there are also definitions all around you.
Right.
I think that people that are independent are probably thinking they're taking some from one side, some from the other side, and to make their decisions about things. So yeah, it's a tough question. I learned more about it as we were able to meet Dr. West, and the fact that he started in certain parties and then wound up in the
Mm-hmm.
independent party, and what that actually means as far as he's concerned. So I learned more about it there. But yeah, I think people, and we talked about this in the past too. Young folks especially are coming in like, nah, I'm not doing this left right thing. I'm doing this independent thing. But again, what's the platform for independent? It's
Right.
hard. It's hard to pinpoint. I think people come into this situation to say they want to be independent because they don't want to go all the way one way or the other. But so what does that actually mean? Those of you that are independent, let me know what that means to you. Kimber is in the chat saying it's too bad that independence. She says they could grassroots fund Andres and create educational literature for independence. True. Again, what's the platform though? She says the party does a good job of letting independents know that, but I don't think we do a good job of really explaining the process as far as
Mm,
voting independent on Democratic ballot. She says it's not new. I was part of the SEC when we voted on it, but it was a while ago. Okay. Anthony Rogers Wright says there are going to be at least 5 candidates for POTUS on the ballot in Nebraska: Dem, GOP, Green Party, Legalize Marijuana Now, and Libertarian.
man, and it's not, and that's not including independent.
And that's not including independent. Okay. Interesting. Um, so again, what does that mean? I think it's a very attractive thing for people to be like, I think I'm going to go independent. But what does that mean? And
Right.
does it mean something different for everybody? If that's the case, how do you do that? How do we talked to Precious McKesson, History Making P, about this probably last year when she was on, and we talked about the fact that you can, yes, as an independent, you can vote on a Democratic ballot, but the Democrats are not going to endorse you or help your campaign out the way they do Democrats. That you're
Yeah.
just allowed to do that. So again, where's the independent headquarters at? Oh, okay. This is interesting. Brother Wright said Dr. West will be on the ballot as legalized marijuana now. Didn't know that.
Okay. So
Right.
yeah. Okay. Thank you. I also did catch that
Good
he
to know.
announced his VP, his running mate as well. A sister, doctor out of Cali, if I'm not mistaken,
Okay.
who helped launch the Black Lives Matter campaign.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah. I forget her name. If you can drop that, brother Anthony Rogers, right in the chat. But apparently, according to I believe the Grio, or no, News One. Shout out to
Mhm.
Miss Kathy Hughes and News One. But they're apparently the first all black ballot for president.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, yes, Dr. Melina Abdullah. Thank you.
That's what's up.
Again,
Can't
yeah,
wait to find
assistant.
out about her.
Yeah. She's a professor at Cal State in LA. Yeah.
Interesting. Tamika Johnson says the nonpartisan ballot lists only Dean Phillips and Joe Biden for president.
Yeah, you got to request again. Tamika Johnson saying, looking at my non-par ballot right now, and it's very skimpy. Again, and some of the names that you might hope to see might not be on there.
I better do some due diligence early because this is about to get real tricky.
Yeah, and it is very interesting. Also, in this article, talking about the Republican Party, apparently, state Republican Party spokesman Taylor Gage said keeping GOP, the grand old party, primaries Republican only, quote unquote, has helped in growing and strengthening the party across the state. Nebraska Republicans have no plans to open their primaries to nonpartisans, he said. So again, if there are some Republican candidates that you want to vote for in state offices specifically, you got to register as a Republican, which again kind of goes to the whole independent situation. Like again, it's kind of this, there's how do you organize independent? It kind of spreads out to whoever the independents want to independently vote for. It's
Mm.
individuals, a bunch of individuals.
Right on 8:33 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, the moral of this story is to do some due diligence on
Oh
who it
yeah,
is you're looking for and how you got to get to them.
yes,
So, one more last comment here. Tamika Renee says nonpartisan is essentially becoming a party itself. Being a voter and choosing your party, you have to educate yourself. Some just follow what others are saying. Read materials at your polling place. The info is posted.
that is true. That is true. Again, there is info posted next to sign-in sheets at polling places, and again, do not go in there asking the poll workers for that type of information because they are legally not allowed to. So again, I'm reminding you, don't feel like these people are just trying to, not give you information intentionally. They cannot legally, they cannot do that. So educate yourselves. Take it upon yourselves to be an educated voter. Thank you.
Yeah. And it's easy when you tune in to First Sky Omaha in the morning because we
Hey,
talk
in
about
the
these things
morning.
on a regular basis. My bad,
Yeah,
stepped
man.
on the line.
Oh, you
First
good,
Sky
bro.
Omaha in the morning.
In the morning. Thank
Give
you.
Buddy his Luther Vandross
Yeah,
moment.
man.
What's happening? Me, me,
Me,
me.
me, me, me,
Shout
me.
out to Precious McKesson. She was on our show the last Wednesday, which was the big news, but she did something else with this little CNN,
Yeah.
whatever this little channel is here. She was on there. I don't know if you got to see her, but I'm sure you can go to the YouTube channel and pull it up. And yeah, shout out to Precious McKesson for doing big things,
Oh yeah.
representing North Omaha in a real way. Appreciate
Man.
her.
Still representing, still making history.
Always making his, just constantly making history. It's a trip. We already talked a little bit about the land banks meeting that's happening on the 13th, which is tomorrow, Saturday morning, tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. Go ahead and check it out. Community Informed Policy Public Meeting. We've been talking to them a little bit about helping spread the word, a little bit about the land bank, and of course, if they're going to have us help spread the word, then we need to make sure that we are holding them accountable and saying, well, yeah, we need some transparency though. So let's put that piece out there too, on top of everything else. And I think they're making an effort, especially with these
Okay.
public meetings here. The community informed policy. I've seen them sit there and take notes from some things. Man, Kimra Snipes was in there the last meeting I was in, which was the meeting before last. And Kimmer was like, "Look, we need more neighborhood participation. You need to come talk to the neighborhoods about what's happening with these properties in the neighborhoods."
Man.
And they said they wrote that down, and we kind of came to the conclusion that that needs to be part of the process for every sale, for
Big time.
every situation. Shout out to Kimmer for making them look at that, and hopefully they'll change that up and do something about it. We kind of made it clear that it was it's kind of their responsibility too, to kind of make sure that you are checking out what's happening in the neighborhoods around these properties, and
Yeah.
not just seeing what's up. And a couple other things that we did too was talked about keeping track of what happens after the sale, because that's something that they haven't been doing.
Hmm.
So yeah, you got some people, you'll buy the property. After the property is done and the process is done and the program is done and the building is built, hands off after that. But did that remain affordable housing like they had proposed? You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to kind of look at what's going on even after the fact. So
That
that's what it is. Yeah.
definitely reminds me, when looking at, when we did the story a couple years ago with the reader on the land bank, it did kind of feel like, hey, there's some shell corporation stuff going on here, as far as, certain nonprofits getting the properties, flipping the properties, building them. And then, yeah, after a couple years, then it's off into the open market, and, whatever happens then happens. And yeah,
Yeah,
is
man.
it still affordable at that point? What's going on? And then also that is a big point as far as making the Omaha Land Bank the responsible ones for making sure there's community input. If you remember the Don Curry story, it was Councilwoman Juanita Johnson who urged, and kind of halted on pushing that thing through City Council, as far as Brother Curry's project,
Mhm.
saying maybe you should go back and talk to the people. So now, it'll definitely be a big help if the land bank is laying that requirement on the land as well. So
Well, Councilwoman Juanita Johnson was at the first meeting that I was at as well, speaking on
yeah,
that too.
yep,
So shout out to her for representing at that land bank meeting too. I definitely suggest you come and check it out. Even if you're not planning on buying any land or building anything on it, these are neighborhoods. These are places in your neighborhoods, and they're being talked about. They're being dealt with. You can have some unaffordable weird stuff happening next door, or you can have a community garden next door to
man.
your house if you live next door to an empty lot or something like that. So it's still really relevant to our neighborhoods, whether you're going to buy a property or not to participate.
Actually, if you're not thinking about buying a property, I would actually kind of urge you to think about it. That is something that you need to consider, man, big time. That brother Stephen Abraham in the chat saying it's like the empty land on 30th Street. There's plenty of, not just 30th. There's plenty of empty lots, hundreds of empty lots that are owned by the land bank in specifically North Omaha. And actually, yeah, they do have on top of this community informed a policy project that they're pushing. They also have a land transformation survey that's going out that you should look out for. There's an opportunity to not only get the property, but have the property prepared and shovel ready when you do purchase it, which is a big thing that
Mm-hmm.
kind of cuts some costs for you to have, certain things taken out of the land. Certain surveys of the land to be had. Again, the Omaha Municipal Land Bank has partnered with Lampright Nearson, a civil engineering firm out of Omaha, in order to turn a minimum of 20 Omaha Land Bank lots into construction ready sites to support the creation of new market rate and affordable housing developments throughout North and South Omaha. So again, 20 lots will be a part of this pilot program, but it does sound like they will be opening up more lots in the near future. Again, there is a survey tied to this. The survey is going to showcase 5 zones located throughout Northeast and Southeast Omaha. For each zone, you will be asked a series of questions related to new housing opportunities within each zone using a slider from 1 to 10, with 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. Please state your rating for how important housing types or proposed housing options are within those areas. There will also be a set of questions in each zone that show you a housing option with a picture showing an example of, single family home, duplex, quadplex, townhome. What are some of the things that you would like to see in your neighborhood? Again, this is your opportunity to weigh in on that with this survey. The survey apparently will only take about 10 to 15 minutes. So, again, it's not too tedious or time consuming. Again, using the following questions, we want to know what type of housing options you would like to see in your community. So, again, this is your opportunity. We'll drop a link to that chat or to that in the chat as we've already done. So, again, if you're interested, check it out. This is your opportunity.
Yeah, they specifically reached out to us saying they would love our audience to fill this survey out.
Yep.
I think the power that you as chat chimers have around here is that our audience is a more engaged audience that are have some thoughtful comments and some ways that is gaining the attention of all these entities around us. And this particular entity at the land bank understands that about this chat. So they said, hey, if you can really reach out and have your people fill this survey out, this is who we want to hear from. So go ahead and hit that link in the chat and do that if you would. Really appreciate that very much. It would be a good idea. I feel very confident too. If you, the chat chimers, fill this thing out, and again, that's who's getting back to them with some message, then I feel really good about that. So please do that if you would. Marlon Harrison says there's a lot of empty lots by my grandparents' house down by Howard Kennedy Elementary.
Man.
It's like that Danny Brown song, man. It's
Oh,
dilapidated
yeah.
house after empty lot after, you know what I'm saying? It's house, empty lot, dilapidated house. There's a lot of these
Mm-hmm.
neighborhoods that got that stuff going on. And the land bank as a organization really got a good kind of, but it's kind of a I can see why it exists.
Yeah,
If it acts right, it can do a lot of good
that part.
by taking over some of these properties, wiping the lien off the property so that you don't have to be paying any back thing on this land. Pricing, they do some of the cleanup on the land. Some of the lots they make shovel ready, and then it's supposed to be there for us in our neighborhoods to take advantage of being in the process of building out in our neighborhoods. We are subject to big corporations coming in, throwing up apartment complexes and making $1,500 a month for a 1 bedroom. That's
Mm-hmm.
happening all around us all the time. This is an opportunity for us to actually really do something about maintaining what's around us with ownership. So
Yeah.
in theory, it's a good process, but it is going to take our participation in order to keep them on track and transparent and all the rest of that.
Yeah, yeah, and it's kind of already happening. It's just the Wanda Lewis in the chat saying some of the parcels on 30th have already been purchased by 75 North, who again I believe is behind this whole the Spencer Street project situation, and
Mm,
they've already done Hilltop. So yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's definitely something to pay attention to. More opportunities tomorrow to have your voice be heard, let your mind be free at the Malcolm X at 10 a.m., 10 to 12. If you ain't doing that tomorrow, go ahead and check it out. And
Yeah,
go ahead and fill out the survey. The link is in the chat.
there you go. Let's do a little lightning round, and we can save some time for some haps in a little bit, if you don't mind, buddy.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Well, speaking of the land, you're speaking of purchasing land and controlling land. Looks like our native brothers and sisters right up the road at the Standing Rock Sioux Tribe, headquartered in North Dakota, actually has a reservation bordering into South Dakota. But now they become the third tribal nation to ban Governor Christy Noem from tribal lands this year. And again, not even halfway through this thing already, barely out of the first quarter, and already the third nation to ban her from their land. The Wednesday announcement comes after the Standing Rock Sioux Tribe Council voted to banish Noem for racially charged quote unquote comments she made last month to 2 town halls alleging some tribal leaders are quote unquote personally benefiting from Mexican drug cartel activity on reservations. Governor Chrissy Noem's wild and irresponsible attempt to connect tribal leaders and parents with Mexican drug cartels is a sad reflection of her fear-based politics that do nothing to bring people together to solve problems. Rather than make uninformed, unsubstantiated claims, Noem should work with tribal leaders to increase funding and resources for tribal law enforcement and education. So, big shout out to them. They've joined the Ogallala Sioux tribe and also the Cheyenne River Sioux tribe, who also banned her earlier this year. So it seems like, yeah, she's being reckless. But big shout out to our Native brothers and sisters for standing on business, as
Man,
the kids say.
man. I almost
Yeah.
I learned the sign language to standing on business. I forgot it now though.
Oh man. Yeah, definitely standing on business. Again, speaking of standing on business, a big shout out again to the senators. Just reminding the people, man, we didn't really talk about a lot of the bills that are coming through, but there's some good work happening. Definitely some bills to look out for, but definitely also some good work. Again, big shout out to Senator Justin Wayne, LB 20, which again would allow those convicted of a felony to have their voting rights restored. Also, Senator McKinney with LB 631, which is again a series actually of reforms to the parole board. Also pushing forward on bills that would also keep OHA accountable. Still looking at the Omaha Housing Authority situation. Big shout out to Brother Sherman Wells for dropping a video recently, kind of giving us a peek and some insight into what's still going on in the towers. Yeah, nothing has changed. Nothing has been fixed. Still leaky pipes. Yeah, still mold. Still a bad situation. So big shout out again to Senator Terrell McKinney for getting some of those bills passed. And again, I urge you to look at some of the other bills that are on the way. Again, 103 bills being passed, and still more time left in the session. So yeah, look
I
out
say
for
he
that.
go, I say he gonna sign. I say he gonna sign 56 bills. That's my
56 of the
my guess.
103
Well, I'll say maybe 59. I'll say 59 bills.
to
Then.
over
That's
half.
my guess.
You,
That's my
you, you
guess.
going that's the over under half. You taking the over?
Yeah,
Okay. I say under. We'll see. We'll
under
see.
half. Okay.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. But again, and finally to wrap up our lightning round, this is sort of a hap, so definitely letting the people know. Big shout out again to Diane Good Collins, the whole crew at 180 Reentry, and also those at the Reconnect Inc. This is the 7th annual Community Resource Fair, talking about again Nebraska criminal justice and the day of Second Chance Month for our formerly incarcerated brothers and sisters. Again, this is coming up, hosted at the Reconnect Inc. Center, the 7th annual fair, which is going down today. It is a community event held. The 7th annual community service resource fair is held from 10 to 2 at the former Center Mall. That's 1941 South 42nd Street on the second floor. Again, that's the former Center Mall, 1941 South 42nd Street on the second floor, hosted by Reconnect Inc. Over 20 service providers from around the state are expected to be on hand with information about their organizations. Their services range from healthcare to housing to jobs to hopefully voting. Again, many resources that our brothers and sisters would need to stay out of prison will be there. So again, if you have any family members, you yourself just got out looking for resources, check it out. Again, this is the 7th annual Second Chance Month that's going down at the former Center Mall on the second floor from 10 to 2 today. Check it out.
Interesting.
That does it.
Right on. Appreciate the lightning round, buddy.
Hey,
Always the consummate professional on this channel.
man, trying to
Appreciate everybody.
get it done.
Yeah, man, we're getting it done. Before we get to the haps, I just want to give a shout out to Stephen Abraham. Had a great point. He said majority of North and South Omaha has become available through the land bank. The municipal land bank was governed by HIO, which is a development arm of the Omaha Housing Authority. But after some improper use, it caused rules to be changed. One being the city taking control over the lots, giving birth to the municipal Omaha Land Bank.
Yep.
Sometimes you got to find the answer to issues by going in reverse. I appreciate that. He says the futurescape plan is interesting. He's talking to Wanda Lewis. I appreciate that comment though. Yeah, interesting little backstory on that, where it came from. Like I said, I feel like it can do some good if it works right.
Right.
And it looks like they're trying to get on that track. So appreciate
Yeah.
that. Black Dynamite said, "How bad you have to mess up to get banned from a reservation?"
Man, she out there talking reckless, man. And it's the third one. This it's like she getting banned from a reservation every month.
I gotta give it to him, man. Shout out. If I can find somebody to bring on the show to talk about that, I want to hear it.
Man,
Can you imagine me like, Stothard, you can't come to North Omaha. You can't come to Deuce.
all right. It starts with some ownership.
You banned from the Deuce. Start with ownership. There you go.
Starts with some ownership.
Right on. Speaking of ownership, lots of people, small businesses doing some things this weekend. So shout out. It's time for the Haps, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna go ahead and play
Hey.
the track. I ain't played the track in a minute.
What's the house? What's happening? What's going down?
Ladies and gentlemen, time for the Haps. Please put your Haps in the chat as well. Let us know about some things that are going on that you find important, that you are promoting, or that you think is important for us to go to, not just this weekend, but for next week as well.
Yeah.
And I'll definitely jump into a few things here, man. This is one that we're talking about getting down with here, the Black Literacy Matters Conference. That's oh man, did we miss this, huh?
Well, today's the last day.
Oh, today's the last day of it.
Yeah,
Okay.
today is the last day. So if you haven't checked it out, yeah.
So
Shout
many
out to-
things going on. All the
Yeah,
time.
man. Shout out to Sister Clarice Jackson for dropping that on us. She sent us an invite. Of course, I can't come. And man, Paul B's been busy with some things. But yeah, if you're not busy today is the last day. There'll be some documentaries, some panels. Yeah, check it out. Because Black literacy does matter.
Please do. And if you've been to any of the other days, we'd love to hear from you on that as well. Let us know how this conference went. And shout out to everybody who's behind putting this together. Black literacy does matter for real. So we appreciate this being a conference that's been put on. And man, I'm sorry I missed it. There's so many things always happening. It's like, it's tough. It's tough
Yeah.
around here. Shout out to Bill King. Shout out to William King, who is going to be live on 95.7 The Boss. Just want to make sure that you know that when we're not doing our thing, Bill King is doing his thing, and that we, for those of you that don't know, 95.7 The Boss is also a source. As far as we're concerned, he has a lot of great interviews on. Omaha Tootie is a friend of First Sky, friend of the fam, and you should be on live with 95.7 The Boss. So definitely check that out. And of course, he does it on Facebook Live as well, so you can always go back and watch that in its entirety later on too. So shout out to him. Shout out to William King, 95.7 The Boss. Shout out to Omaha Tootie. Shout out to DJ Votto, who is part of this situation as well. And yeah, man, we only have a finite amount of black media going on around here, so take it in any way you can. Really appreciate that very much.
That part.
Yep. Also, for Haps, with Haps is concerned, there's something coming up here tonight as well. This is from our partners over at Omaha Performing Arts. Marcos Eduardo's Latino Music Explosion. We actually talked about this a little bit before, man. Some of my favorite artists around here I'm seeing in this picture here. So it's going to be a good opportunity to see a lot of the Latino music that goes on here in Omaha, man. Let's check it out today. Holland Performing Arts is happening at 7:30 tonight. If anybody's planning on going to that, let me know. I want to see what's happening there. So again, this is tonight at the Holland Performing Arts Center. Always love getting dressed up, going to the Holland.
Yeah. Get your salsa shoes ready.
Come on with it. You got to stretch it a little bit in this afternoon. Get ready for it.
Yeah. Maybe take a nap. Fiesta.
For real. This is coming up April 27th. Afrofusion Omaha African Food Meets Whiskey. We've been talking about this brother. We didn't talk about him today. I put it in the.
I saw that.
Shaking it up. A lot of people, friends of First Sky Omaha, participated in that article that I dropped about the brother who's shaking things up with the whiskey. So this is good to see that he's teaming up with some folks and doing some Afrofusion. Mark your calendars, man. Saturday, April 27th. I'm definitely going to try to go down to this. This is going to be at North 30th Street, Building 22. So I believe that's over there on at No More Empty Pots. Is that the address for that? 573.
It looks like MCC.
Oh, MCC. Okay. Oh, at
Yeah,
the Sage Student Bistro.
Yep, there you
Got
go.
it.
There you go.
So Culinary Arts Building or MCC. This is going down.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So they got a real kitchen they're gonna be throwing down with this. See, I'm hungry already thinking about it.
He's hungry, boss.
He hungry, bro. Shout out to Leia Keister, who is got the Swing Left Nebraska podcast. Check this out. Always a good podcast to check out to learn about more about the Unicamera, more about the process out there. Week 15, wherever you get your podcasts. I get my podcast from Apple Podcasts now. But you can get this on Spotify and all the places that you get your podcast. Definitely check it out. Chad Chimer and Creative Content creative
Campus.
content alumni. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, appreciate her and all the work that she's doing as well to clarify things, man. It's all about the clarification around here. Learn so much if you take it in. So appreciate her for that. And yeah, definitely check out the Swing Left Nebraska podcast as well. Let's see. We got the spring cleanup coming up on 24th. Is that past us yet? No, April 27th. Mark your calendars for this as well. North 24th Street BID is doing a spring community cleanup coming up. Said volunteers needed. There's going to be dumpsters out there. This is the dumpsters located at Global Leadership Group Community Garden, 3118 North 24th Street. So an opportunity to help beautify up North 24th, the Deuce.
The deuce.
The Deuce. So yeah, check that out. Mark your calendars for that. Let's see what else we got here. Empowerment Network is coming up. The annual North Omaha Housing and Revitalization Summit is happening April tomorrow. So this is also tomorrow, 8:45 to 11:30. This is something else going on in the neighborhood at Metropolitan Community College as well, Fort Campus. There's a couple things happening on the Fort Campus
Man.
this weekend. Say again?
I said it's popping.
Yeah, it really is, and it should be. It should be.
Yeah.
Free breakfast with this one, network opportunities, free community resources. Be a part of rebuilding the village. So we talk about space is the place. Here's the annual North Omaha Housing and Revitalization Summit. Might want to go and you can register there. I'll put this in Friends of First Sky Omaha so you can register. And yeah, this is always a time to make your voice heard and to find out what everybody else is doing here firsthand and be a part of this meeting as well. So go ahead and check that out. Shout out to the Empowerment Network for putting some things out there.
Seems like tomorrow would be a good day to if you're interested in real estate, if you're trying to buy some property, if you care about the development and housing in the community. And I know a lot of us, in the chat have chimed up about that. Maybe go check this out, and then this is at 8:45, and then a couple hours later, go over to Malcolm X, check out the land bank. Learn about some real estate opportunities. Get involved, y'all.
Most def. Also, I see in the chat that Tamika Renee is talking about a HAPS. I appreciate you putting that in the chat. She says, first Black and Brown meetup, April 18th, 6 to 8 at the elevator. So shout out to the elevator. Open to the public, bring North and South Black and Brown together. Free food, drinks, music, and discussion.
Okay.
That's what's up.
Oh, yeah, that is
Love
what's up.
that. Power to the East Side. That's what's going on.
Man, East Side Pride.
There you go. Appreciate that very much. But Jahisha Baz in the chat says land bank is a gentrification process produced by Ben Gray, and audit will show that white developers are exclusively benefiting. We need to take over it.
That's why we saying what we saying. Now's the chance, brother. Tomorrow, pull up.
Come speak up. Come pull up.
Right.
Yeah.
But,
the more I learn about the process, the more we come from the situation where Buddi wrote the article on the Reader. In the Reader, we did some deep dive.
We did audit.
Right. We did. We got some receipts on this, so we know what they've been doing. And I'm seeing now what they're trying to do and how that's working. So yes, there is some need for some people to come in and pay attention and be a part of this and take back what we need to take back. And we can do it through the process, working with them. We can work with them. Community and foreign policy public meeting happening tomorrow. They're going to have some exercises there for you to kind of see the process, but there's an opportunity for us to speak up and voice our concerns and get some answers as well there too. So definitely pull up on that. Appreciate it.
Not just go through the process, but be able to inform and change the process to stop some of that from going. Because you are right, brother. Shabazz, and I just said Holy Name Housing Corporation and Habitat for Humanity. Those were the only two corporations I saw getting the hundreds and hundreds of properties. I'm like, where's the folk from? Like, where's the individuals? Where's the families? Where's the community people? Okay.
So there's also the other side of it too, because who's the community people that are actually going and getting the land?
Right. Who's
putting that money down on it? Right. Right.
And do you know the process? So, yeah. Here's opportunity to learn. Shout
out. One more. There's a friend of First Sky Omaha, Maria Corpus.
Okay.
That just started a business. She's going to be down in the New Bohemian area. That's 1234 South 13th Street. Bell Merch Design is her new business. She's going to have an opening over there. So we're going to slide through. She's been a supporter of the show, supporter of us. We're going to support her business as well. I'll probably hop over to Tiny House, which is another bar that we've thrown some kickbacks at.
Yeah.
It'll be right across the street and have a little cocktail and hang out. So if you out and about tonight, slide through. It's a soft opening, so she's not having a whole bunch of people over there, but might as well come over there and see what's going on. She works a lot with the community as well. So shout out to Maria Corpus, who does her thing. Bell Merch in Design is the new brick and mortar that she's opening over there in the New Bohemian area. And so yeah, man, it's Southside. You know where this Kimber be talking about. She lived right around by there, so maybe we can get together. Like I say, stop in a tiny house and hang out for a bit, and go over there and support Maria. So there it is. There's a lot more haps, of course, but we're going to go ahead and get out of here. We'll put more haps in Friends of First Sky Omaha, and please do so as well. If you have any haps, go ahead and put those in Friends of First Sky Omaha. Not just about what's going on this weekend, but what's going on this week as well. And I cannot wait for Monday because I cannot wait to talk to the senators about this whole session, man.
Man. Well, we'll see. We'll see who's right on the over under. You know, we'll see. We'll see.
Yep. Let us know. Yeah, put that in the chat too, man. Put that in Friends of First Sky Omaha. How many of these 103 bills do you think Pillen's gonna sign? So we know we've been talking about it. We know about some of them. You know, we talking about Port Authority stuff. We talking about prison reform. We talking about parole board. We talking about people voting right when they get out.
Education.
Housing. Come on, man. Let's see. Go through the bills again and look and see which ones you think he's gonna sign, which ones you think he's not. Man. And let's make some predictions and see if it comes true. We'll see.
So with that, looks like we might get out here on time, man.
A little bit, yeah, man. You got some words for the people?
Yeah, man. Big shout out again. No guests today, but looking forward to having the brothers come in on Monday. Again, brother senators Terrell McKinney, Justin Wayne, if they have the time out of their busy schedule, or you know, now that the session over, if they'll take it, you know, to recap, we'll see. But also, hopefully, our brother Shabazz, Kasim Shabazz of the BAA, is feeling better. Again, he was under the weather and wasn't able to make it last Monday. But hopefully, we can catch up with the brother this Monday, see what's going on with the BAA, and also brother Sherman Wells with Untamed. But in the meantime, between time, y'all take care of yourselves. Catch the same time, same place, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right here on First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B. Take it away, man.
Right on. Arrows 402 says, hit the like button, make it hot.
Hey, make it hot.
So do the show a favor and comment on an old show. Have a blessed weekend, everyone. Appreciate you, Mir Sanchez. We got to connect soon, bro. As a matter of fact, Buddy's coming out here in a couple months, so we're going to go ahead and plan some kickbacks.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm already thinking about your tacos, bro. I'm already dreaming.
Let's go slap some white ball, too.
Man, let's smash a little white ball.
Yeah.
Pop says this show was perfection. Thanks, Pops. He says, thank you. Everyone have a great weekend and mad love from Las Vegas. Appreciate you, Pop.
Hey.
Everybody on the West Coast that's tuned in, appreciate that. Everybody on the East Coast tuned in as well. We got some people all over, man. Appreciate that.
All over the world, man.
All over the world. That's really real. That's really real. It's growing. Speaking of growing, please go ahead and like and subscribe over there on YouTube. That's where we're going to be dropping a lot of our news. We're doing some things over in TikTok too. You know, we've been doing the news over there. We're going to start doing some more fun things on TikTok as well, and try to grow that audience. So if you're on TikTok, go ahead and look us up, Friends of First Sky. First Sky Omaha. But more importantly, go to Friends of First Sky Omaha, the group page on Facebook. That's where a lot of the conversation is happening when we're not live. And it's a lot where we get our information as well. A lot of the information that you want us to talk about, that you feel like is important, that's relevant. You guys are dropping articles and things there, and we're here for it. So we really appreciate you doing that very, very much. Mama God says, love the show. Hot likes, especially in YouTube. I love it. I love it. Make it hot.
Yes. Make it hot.
I want to give thanks to the Omaha Tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Shout out to our elders for allowing. Go ahead.
We didn't get banned from the land. That's why I'm laughing. we got permission. We ain't get banned. Believe that.
Yeah, that man did not get the blessing to be on this land or speak. Yeah. But we did. Shout out to the Omaha Tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Shout out to our elders allowing us to speak before you, and shout out to you, the chat chimers, allowing us to speak with you on all these subjects that are close to our hearts and affect us directly, which is what this is all about. So shout out, man. Sherman Wells in the chat. There he is.
Peace.
Peace. Good morning. I don't see what your comment is here. I just see your name. So that's
I see a red box.
A red box. Yeah, I don't know what that is. It could just be our program. Say again.
I see you Monday though.
Yeah, quite possibly. Black Dynamite in the chat. Yeah, he's he cracking it. Okay. Now I'm seeing it. Red, black, and green with
okay.
Some strength, like y'all say, strength.
Yeah,
what I'm talking about. Yes, 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 we love y'all. Appreciate you so much for all you guys do, and I'm glad that we got a place that we can kind of centrally talk about it and really disseminate some information, but also discuss it, man. You know, it's one thing to get the news; it's another thing to work out the why and to have some conversation about how it affects us directly, and to give some personal commentary on a lot of it as well. So
Man,
shout out to you guys doing that. It invigorates me every show, and I hope that we are stimulating thought and action with you all as well. And I appreciate everybody that supports us.
big time.
Speaking of support, if you want to continue to support us, or if you have not been inclined to do so yet, please think about it. Go to firstsky.omaha.com, hit the donate button. We definitely have to raise up our memberships so that we can get to the point where we're offering some pretty good perks and doing some new stuff and having some new shows happen, and doing some more research, bring more people on the team. Lots of stuff that we got in store coming up. We definitely have our digital radio station that's popping right now too. You can go to firstsky.omaha.com, hit the listen button for that, and we'll have some easier ways in the future for you to get to it, and a video channel coming up as well. So we're definitely working really hard behind the scenes to bring some of this to the masses, bring some of this to more people, and connect cities as well, connect Omaha to Atlanta, all the places that there are native Omaha people at. Places in Texas, places in California. There's a lot of places around town that are tuning in, listening to what's going on too, because they care about North Omaha. It's not just North Omaha. So
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
shout out to y'all. And Sherman says yes, Monday. We'll see you Monday then, bro. Appreciate you. I'll
Hey.
go ahead and send that calendar invite to you this weekend, and we'll be loving to catch up with you on that. I want to hear what's the Spencer Project stuff's going on. I know you got some inside information on some things. I'd love to hear about it. But yeah, it'd be great. It'd be great. So shout out to everybody who's here. Once again, if you missed any of this interview or any of this show, you can go back and watch it in its entirety on Facebook and YouTube. Definitely check out the chats when you do. Some great comments. With that, in the meantime, between time, take care of yourselves this weekend. Anything good comes up this weekend, anything fun, go ahead and drop it in Friends of First Sky Omaha. We're constantly monitoring that, and never know, might be something that we can pop up to and show up to. So definitely put that in Friends of First Sky Omaha if you got something. Meantime, between time, buddy, you ready to go?
Man, I am a little bit.
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna get out on time. You
Yeah.
you got
Almost.
something else you want to say? I mean, I'm always here for the conversation.
Nah, it's better. It's better. We done got up to the point where it was like 20 minutes past. Now it's just 6 minutes, 7 minutes. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I don't really have anything else, man. We made it through the stories, a lot of conversation. I know we got some things to talk about. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. Shout out to Kendrick Lamar for winning that battle.
Man, yeah. Well, on that note, I am hearing it's going to be an interesting summer. Apparently, Drake and K. Dot have gone back in the booth. So yeah, then you might hear some more. You might get the battle you was hoping for. All the people out there. We'll see.
They
But
can't mess.
yeah, man, King Kunta.
They can't mess with Big Me. They can't mess. All right, y'all. We're gonna get out of here. Peace.
Man. All right, peace and love, y'all. Peace and love.
By the way, Vanglorious. This is protected by the red, the black, and the green. At the crossroad, with the key.
By any means